Greetings and salutations. I am your humble Adobe instructor, AJ Wood. Thanks for joining me for another Tip Tuesday. Last week we finished off our portrait retouch inside of Adobe Lightroom. Today we're jumping back into Photoshop. Let's bring up the screen. You can see on the screen in front of you that I have a model standing in front of a tan background, and what I'm going to do today is show you how to make a quick color change using a hue saturation adjustment layer. Now I want to point out, if you look on the screen, you'll see the layers panel, I have an adjustment panel, and a mask panel. You need to be using CS4 or CS5 to take advantage of those panels. Now, if you're not using CS4, CS5, if you have Photoshop CS3 or older, you will still be able to use a hue saturation adjustment layer. The only difference is you're going to see a dialog box. So don't fret, you can watch this tutorial. Let's go ahead and jump in. What I'm going to do is grab my quick selection tool and make a rough selection of our model. Okay, I'm going to resize and just make sure I grab around his ears. Okay, got that there. Go ahead and grab this side. Okay, that looks good. And now I'm ready to go ahead and add my hue saturation adjustment. Again, if you're using CS3 or older, you'd go to the layers panel and then you'd simply select hue saturation adjustment from the list. Because I have the adjustments panel, I'm just going to click on the hue saturation adjustment button, which does the same thing. Now we have our adjustment. You can see the new adjustment layer in the layers panel, and what I'll do is go ahead and change the hue. Now if you look on the screen, it doesn't really look like what we want, right? The color change actually happened on the model's face, and I want you to look closely at the layer mask, and you'll see, remember, white reveals that color change, black conceals it. So the problem is I need to invert the mask. Okay? So I'm going to point your attention to the mask panel. Specifically, there's an invert button. I'll go ahead and I'll click on that, and that changes out the color. And now I can just make sure I've tweaked it so it's not too purple. And I'll just adjust it a little bit more blue, and maybe we want to desaturate it just a little bit, and I'll darken it up some. Right? So once again, to invert the mask, you could go right to the mask panel. You can also press Command-I on a Mac or Control-I on a PC. Let's zoom in on the model and take a closer look. Everything looks pretty good, but I'm just going to move this a little bit, and you can see there's some rough spots right around his neck. So I'm going to go ahead and paint that in. Remember, we're painting directly on the mask, which is up here in the layers panel. And because the model's outlined in black, I'm making sure that my brush is also using black. So I just do a quick paint. I'm going to fix this edge around his eye, or his neck, excuse me, and I'm going to fix this edge around his ear. Okay, that's a little rough. I'm going to paint that in there. And then there's a little spot up here in his hair that I want to take care of. What I'm going to do is use the mask panel, and I'm going to simply select Mask Edge, which is the same thing as Refine Edge, which, if you remember, has been significantly improved in CS5. Let's go ahead and click that. And there's our model. I'm going to smooth the edges. Notice the edges are kind of rough, so I'll smooth those out just a little bit. And what I'll do is turn on this new feature, Smart Radius. Crank the radius up just a little bit, and I'm going to paint around those wisps of hair that are right in here. So just right in there, paint that. All right, that takes care of those wisps of hair. I think everything looks good. I'm going to just choke the edge in just a little bit, and I'll click OK. Give it a second. And there you have our model. So everything looks great. All right, this has been a quick background color change using hue saturation adjustment layer inside of Photoshop. My name is AJ Wood. Appreciate you being here every week. Please be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll see you next week. Thanks.